Welcome to Waters Online, where mountain gardening is made easy with the mountain gardener, Ken Lane. So what's your prescription for a weed-free garden?
Yeah, weeds. You're going to have weeds if you're going to garden. Actually, if you own property, you're going to have weeds.
Right.
And so how you deal with it. And again, there's so many choices. How do I deal with all this? Real easy. You have seed killers, you have tree killers, and then you have weed killers.
Okay.
Let's just go down the list. We'll show you which one you want to do.
Perfect.
Which. So seed killers. Let's do that one first. They're weed preventers, basically. Why not keep them as they send off that taproot and send off a seed taproot? Why not just stop it right there?
Right.
So that's what these, they call them weed and peed or turf and grass, weed and grass stopper. This one happens to be a sprayer. You spray it on the soil, and as the seed sets on that and germinates, it keeps it from setting a taproot.
Nice.
And so you never have a weed to begin with.
Okay.
You got to get them early, though. You can't spray this on a weed that's already going. Doesn't do anything to them. It only kills seeds. The one I really like is called weed and grass stopper. This you spread just like a fertilizer. So it's granular. You put it in your sprayer. I usually use a handheld sprayer or spreader, and I just spread it out there, and irrigation or rain activates it, and it keeps the seed from ever getting up. That's the only way you got to do this, I think, at least once a year. I do it twice, January, and I'll do it in the rains here in Arizona hit in July. I do it late June, early July, keeps the weeds from ever coming up.
Perfect.
Now we get to tree killers. This one, they're going to have nasty names like Permakill, Death to All. This one is brush and stump killer. It's made for the heavy-duty stuff. I mean, the big trees, I've killed stumps like willows. I've cut one down, and they're notorious for suckering up. You spray this on when it's still an open cut, and it will not come back from the roots. Systemically goes in, yet it doesn't affect the soil around it. It just kills that root structure, and that's it. Blackberries, you want to keep the brambles under control. Poison oak, poison ivy, those big, heavy, aggressive types of plants, takes them right out. You mix this up just like a Roundup or a Killzall, some of those things. The other one is glyphosates, the classic weed killers.
Okay.
There's two types of weed killers. There's summer weed killers, and there are winter weed killers, and they don't correlate. Well, I guess not too much. Let me just explain. Killzall is the super concentrated Roundup. So Roundup came off a patent a few years. Now you can get the commercial contractor grade Roundup, so it makes 4 times the quantity at the same money that you would buy a regular Roundup bottle. I really like these basically generic glyphosates called Killzall. This is a summer killer. It only works when the temperature's up above 80 degrees.
Okay.
So in the mountains of Arizona, you can spray this starting May through about September, and that's the only time it works. You try spraying this in the fall, the weed will yellow and come back with a vengeance, and then mock you and spit at you and talk bad at you. This one you can't use when it's cold, and it's mainly nighttime temperatures are cold. Well, then what do I do, Ken, for the rest of the year? That's over half of the year is cool in the mountains, in the mountain gardening. Then lastly, we've got Weed Free Zone, which is a cool season killer. This is one of those magic new products that are out that is just amazing, especially in the mountains of Arizona. Weed Free Zone is one of the only plants, weed killers, that will take out those really tough weeds like wild morning glory, bindweed, horehound, a goat head, those really tough weeds. This one wipes them out usually within the day.
Really?
And then it just kills the roots and everything. Doesn't just burn off the top like many of them. It actually kills roots and all, so they won't come back.
So you spray the actual weed with that?
You got it.
Okay.
So with a pump-up sprayer usually.
Right.
Okay. And most importantly, this is one of the few weed killers you can spray while it's cool out. So from September through the following March, April, May, this weed killer really works. May take a little longer. It also works in the summer as well. So it works year-round, whereas some of these glyphosates, they only work in the summer. These work any time of the year. So kills anything but a grass.
Okay.
Doesn't work on grass. That's the only negative or positive, depending on how you look at it.
Sure.
So that's how you spray them. Now, let me just go over real quickly sprays. How do you spray this? And I've got my own personal take on this. Hose and sprayers can be good for big areas.
Right.
Usually you're going to be using, though, a tank sprayer like these guys. Let me just open this up. This is a tank sprayer, Oh, it's still in pieces. Hey, I've got mine at home. Let me just show it to you. Okay, so I forgot I was doing some spraying at home. There we go. Well, I ran to the truck, came back. This is my sprayer that I use, the same one we sell here. Everyone wants to get this huge 3-gallon sprayer that just weighs a ton when you load it up. You typically don't need that much spray in the yard. I love these little 1-gallon sprayers because they're lightweight. You just pump them up, it pressurizes it, and then you just point and kill the actual weed. So it's a great way to go. You don't need more than a gallon worth of sprayer to work out in the yard. Otherwise it gets too heavy and it wears you out, and then it's work instead of a joy to garden. But these will use, they'll kill either any of these sprays. It'll use any of these sprays. Lastly, the last little secret, and this will make you the best gardener ever. Let me just give it to you.
Let's hear it.
In your tank sprayer, you're going to take your weed-free zone or your Killzall.
Right.
You're going to put it in the tank sprayer at the recommended rate. I have to legally tell you that. But here's the secret. Spreader sticker. Spreader sticker and the weed killer mixed in the same tank. Here's what happens. Many weeds have a very waxy leaf to it, and so the killer beads up and rolls off. Not effective. Or weeds have a very fuzzy leaf, and so the weed killer floats on top of the leaf, doesn't kill it. Spreader sticker gets it to coat over waxy leaves, and it gets it to soak into fuzzy leaves, so you get a much heavier knockdown. I mean, noticeable better knockdown on weeds if you combine these two. I would never dream of spraying this without adding that.
Now this is the same thing you added to the pesticide, right?
Anytime I'm using any of these chemically, kind of these insecticides, miticides, fungicides, weed killers, I always add spreader sticker. So it's the best investment. It'll turn those brown thumbs green within the first tank of spray.
That's good news.
Yeah, thanks.
To learn more, come on out to Watters Garden Center on Iron Springs Road here in Prescott.